I'm not saying that what I'm about to say is what I want the average player to go out and try right now, as if they have to do it right now. This is what all the top players are doing. Whether they know it or not, it's irrelevant. This is how a golf swing works when it's working well. Okay. And that is that the player is going to keep the energy of the swinging club trapped to one side of them for a sufficient amount of time. For Jon Rahm, it's very small time. He doesn't need long. He goes bang and he's ready to hit it, right? I'm a bit like Jon Rahm, but some guys and girls, Brooke Henderson, Colin Morikawa, they have to keep it there for a longer time. And you could think of that as it's unfolding, okay, from folded, it's unfolding on one side of them. And then the club's two ends move around each other or around the central part of the shaft, and they change the direction and change the side from one side of the player to the other. And when everyone sees this, okay, it doesn't have to lay down too much. It's still on the other side. It's now, instead of in front of the player, it's behind them. Okay. And then it stays behind them until the forces, because the forces that they've built up and created through such a straightforward motion as described, those forces build to become too much to contain any longer, and they just spit out back to where they began, which would be here. So if you can imagine, you look at Ben Hogan would be like here. I'm exaggerating. Ben Hogan's like here, up to the cup. Okay. Drops the other side, down to the lag, the typical Hogan stuff, right? And then from here, it just goes bang, back to original. And he's over here. Okay. So it's a simple golf swing when it's really good. The club starts on one side of the player. It orbits to the other side, just like the Earth orbits around the sun, and then it returns. And if you think of a comet, this is my favorite analogy for this, is gravity. The sun is pulling the comet in, Halley's Comet, 76-year journey, right?
Yeah.
This comet gains speed, coming towards the sun, gains speed, round the sun, spat out the other side, piss off to the other side of the galaxy. 76 years later, comes back. Okay, that's what's happening is we're beginning the golf swing, and people are starting to cotton on to this. You've got to have some momentum in your swing. I've been talking about momentum forever, but you just got to get some momentum going in your swing. It doesn't have to be super fast, but it's got to be energy, right? So you energize it, which is sending it away, and it returns, and you are the sun. So as it goes from one side of you to the other, it accelerates like crazy, and that's exactly what happens in a golf swing. It goes from one side of you, which is, everyone sees it, it's lag, it's all behind you, all that, right? It's on the wrong side of you. That's why it looks so funny. Like, I've got a shit ton of that, you know, guys say, well, you trying to pull angle? No, it's on the other side. And I'm happy to leave it there, because I know the more I leave it there, the more's coming out of there. So why would I want to undo any of it?
Why do you think it's so difficult for regular players to get a lag impact?
Yeah.
Really great players seem to be able to either have some or have a lot, but they're in that seems to be like a binary thing where, like,
awesome question.
Great players have a lag impact, poor players have.
Yeah. What we're talking about here is we're talking about the haves and the have-nots. That's what it is. And I can tell you where the rubber meets the road for that divergence. The haves have it from before the swing starts all the way till the ball's gone, and the have-nots don't ever have it. You can't not have it and then magically get it with some move in your swing. It's not. That's what I hate about traditional instruction. That's why I'm no longer going to put videos on YouTube in traditional instruction form like I have, because I'm not trying to convey that message, but it's taken just like everything else, and I don't blame the viewer. That's on me.
Yeah.
I'm the one putting it up. I'm not going to have that conversation with the viewer anymore. I'm not going to say, do this, do that. Like, if you watch the series with JH, I go to great pains to talk about it being done before the swing, right? It's like this. The start of the swing is the end. Okay? It really is. So you begin at the end, and it's almost as though you end it, which creates it. And that sounds a bit, woo-woo, esoteric. I get it. But it's like, you have to understand, in order to achieve the shit you see top players achieving, you have to know what's coming, and you have to know what's coming well enough that you can do it all before the swing even begins. That way, what you know is coming will actually come. Jackie Burke said, recreation is recreation. You must recreate it every time. In order to recreate it effectively, you must know what to do to bring it about, not to do it. And this is where everybody's got it wrong. Oh, if I do this and do this and do... No. You've got to know how to bring it about. And everybody listening to this, if they search their thoughts about playing golf, if they knew what they were about to bring about, they could play golf and they'd do it well. But they go out there and they try to do it. And whenever they try to do it, it doesn't work. And then they give up and they go, F it, I'm done, right? And then they just start playing and hit better shots.
So what are the good players doing before the swing even happens? The bad players just never even
well,
up, or
it's a really great question.
Forward and left, or
yeah, it's more than that, because look, again, we could talk for 2 hours on it, like, because this is the deal, right? This is the deal. But I'll try to bring it into some semblance of just an answer to your question. But they are aware of what's about to come because they've done it before, as has everyone that's watching this. But these guys have done it well more often, so they've got a little bit more knowledge of what's coming. So they're preparing their body and aligning themselves to the club. They're aligning themselves to themselves, in a way, themselves to the club, and then that to the ball and the target. And right, once everything's aligned, they just let it swing. Because for them, when they're playing well, a golf swing's a golf swing's a golf swing. They're not trying to swing a golf club any more than if I gave you a stick and you turn around and you see that piece of artwork behind you that's behind you. I think you've got a little YouTube plaque there, have you?
I do, yeah.
Congratulations on that. But look behind you, the cat there.
Yeah.
If I said, okay, take a stick and wallop that cat in the head.
Yeah, that'd be simple. Yeah.
Right. Well, if you've got all your ducks in a row, what's left to do? The point is that the more you've done, the less there is to do. Right? If you haven't done much, the more there is to do. And we all know that you can't get something from nothing, and you can't get Ludwig Aberg's swing from just standing there, even though it looks like he's just standing there, right? It looks so effortless, but, he's got everything all aligned and ready to go, and he just lets it shoot. As you look at the comments on that video you did, and just as I see the general feedback I get, so the more someone treats what I'm saying as a how to swing a golf club, the further away they get from what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, you'd rather have them see the forest and just start swinging away from their own swing and see where that takes them.
Well, I think this is the way I describe it, is that what a golf swing is not well defined. I'm defining it a certain way. You may not like my definition. Other people, that's okay. But at least I've defined it a certain way. Then within that definition, I have a coherent whole, what to do, why to do it, how it works, and those three things have got nothing to do with how you do it. They're just so you understand the swing. Then, if you understand the swing in that way, which is my goal for all of the viewers, is that the how to do it becomes a relatively simple thing. which is why 6-year-olds can do it, why 5-year-olds can do it. We marvel at it. We go, how can they do that? Right? If you know what to do, or you at least don't have the wrong idea, it's not impossible.
And how about you? You're still a young man. Do they have like a Champions Tour kind of thing in Australia that you're going to go for?
I was sort of toying with the idea, but I've kind of got this. I've been in this headspace of wanting to figure this out, and I've only really recently come to the whole framework that I've talked about on this call.
Yeah,
I've concretized it in my mind. It's clear, and so that's why I was saying I want to move away from instructional content in a traditional sense into more of a discussion of the framework and how I think if people started to understand the swing in this way, it would be easier for them to play golf. And that's what I want to do. I do want to play golf myself, but I'm not as motivated to do that right now competitively as I am to try to. I want to help as many people as I can. When I was working with Mike Weir, I said that to him. I said, look, because when I first met him, Mike was God inside 100 yards, okay? And he was, by his standards, outside that, okay, at the time. And I was like, wow, the contrast here is massive. So inside 100 yards, he's Mike Weir. Outside 100 yards, he's a human being trying to play Mike Weir, right? He's trying to be whatever he thinks Mike Weir should do. And it was like such a massive thing. And I was like, when I told him that, he's like, yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm doing, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's obvious, right? And I get it, because I used to do the same thing with my whole game, you know? So that's what I see amateurs out there. They're not playing golf. They're playing themselves playing golf, like they're a character or something. And it's all this fake they're trying to do. And I get it, because I tried to do it all too. So I understand. I'm not knocking anybody. But I want to help people go out there and actually play the game. That's what I want to do.
All right, we'll have you back on again. Hopefully, I can maybe we can get you flown out here to California or something. And
I'd be up to go.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, then we'll do it. So put anything you guys are looking for in the comments. It will take you just 1 minute, less than a minute, a few seconds to go over to Martin Ayers Golf again and click the subscribe button. And it'll mean 10 seconds of your time, but it'll mean the world to Martin.
It'd be great.
He's relaunching this. It would really mean a lot to him.
And click the notification, because I will be going live. The plan is to go live. So I think in that case, the notification button is most useful. Call it 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, that type of time frame.
Okay, great.
Right.
That's perfect.
Well,
all right. Great to talk to you.
You too, Brendan. See you, mate. Note 1, club. Note 2, the feet, creates note 3.
Thanks for watching, everybody. After the last video that we put up with Martin, which was the first one that we did, there were so many different comments about how can we make this actionable, how can we take this beyond theory and really make it actionable. So I called Martin and we had an over 2.5 hour conversation about this specific issue. Okay, we want to make this actionable. I think a lot of people can see that there is some genius. There's a lot of genius in what he's saying, but they're like, okay, standing in front of the ball, what do I actually do? You know, what is the thing to do? So up on the join page, all these videos are going to be coming out, but up now on the join page is over almost 3 hours of content with Marcus, where he details this thing called the baton drill, which he says is his #1 drill that he has young kids do. And then he also has tour pros do. And then also at the end, what we're talking about right here, I did a video that Martin said was like 90% there. It was like really close. But when Martin was explaining what I should specifically do in my swing, I think that really brought it together. He maps it out. That's what he's explaining here. And it's all up on the join page now. It'll be slowly coming out as I'm editing it and putting it together on Be Better Golf. So, but the members can see it right now. So click that join button below. It really helps the channel. Let me know what you guys think. If I flew Martin out here to California and then we did videos together and then I would play golf with him and then maybe even set up a match between Martin Ayers and John Erickson, I think that would be really exciting. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Now that I've had my
ask you a couple controversial questions.
Okay, go for it.
Right. And I just wanted to make clear and give you a chance to
Sure.
talk about them. One thing is the different pros that you've worked with, the names that I've heard that you worked with. When you look at them, I just wanted you to talk about some of the successes and maybe struggles you've had, especially like when I look at like Cameron Beckman, for example, and where he went on the world golf ranking from around the time you were working with him. And then it seemed like he used to be a really big name on the tour. And I don't know, I think maybe he had some health problems as well. And then also, like I was looking back, you mentioned Mike Weir the other day. I was looking back, and Mike Weir, I always thought he was just kind of like had that one really good Masters, and that was about it. I didn't realize like for a span of 11 years he was like a top 20 dude
stud.
for a right. But around 2011 or so, he really tanked, and I don't know if this was around Stack and Tilt or whatever. So I just wanted you to talk a little bit about your experiences with Tour Pros, some of the successes you had, some of the struggles you had, and kind of the a little bit of inside baseball.
Sure. No, I'm happy to do that. Like, I mean, it's something that I can tell you. Like, okay, I'll do Steve Elkington first. Okay, so Steve Elkington.
Oh, so beyond producing content, you were helping Steve with his swing as well.
Oh, fuck yes, yeah. That's the only reason. No.
I do. The only thing I really remember, and I think the timeline is similar, is he came really close to winning the PGA Championship.
That was sick. That was amazing. I was there.
At Whistling Straits.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you were there. Okay, yeah. That was wild.
That was. Yeah. He was hitting it. He was hitting it a million miles for him and playing amazing. Like the Tuesday of that week, I contacted his friend Terry Okura and said, "Get on him, get all the cash on him," because it's just he'd been building up. He'd been